Why is our politics fully left-wing? The subreddit invites those with strong political views to participate. Now Reddit in general leans left, and the way Reddit works with up votes, down votes pushes out divergent views. Like, let's say that at a point there are 60 left and 40 right people voting. The pro-left post ends up at plus 20 votes and the pro-right post ends up at 20 votes. Now this happens for a while and the right-leaning people get frustrated with the down votes and migrate elsewhere. So right now it's more like 90 left, 10 right. So anything right-wing is buried quickly. Yes, it's much more complex than this, but just simplifying. The responses in this thread are generally assuming everyone on Reddit is from the United States, and answering the question as if the contributors to our politics are representative of the kind of punditry you'd see on Fox or NBC. That's wrong. As a non-American, most left-leaning American politicians would be too far right for even some of our right-wing parties. Reddit already leans left, but so does the majority of the Western world. The pretension in this thread is unreal. The truth is it's liberal because Reddit is a mostly liberal demographic and the voting system of Reddit is conducive to creating echo chambers. Polarized people think they have a monopoly on morality and drown out any voice of dissent because they feel they have an imperative. It's not just liberals. It's human nature. The Reddit voting system, well, people's misuse of it creates an echo chamber effect where people that hold the majority opinion get top visibility and attracts others that hold such opinions, while those with unpopular opinions in that sub get hidden and dissuades others that share that view. The secret ingredient is banning the states is so right-wing that views that would be seen as right-wing in other countries are still considered left-leaning to Americans. In this thread, a bunch of people who conflate Democrats and neoliberal capitalism with leftism. The two are not the same at all. In most of the world, American liberals are right-wing. Capitalists are by definition right-wing. Bring up some explicitly anti-capitalist talking points on our politics, like actual left-wing, leftist thought. Do that and see just how left that subreddit isn't. Hate to break it to you. You are a right-wing guy if you think Democrats, U.S. liberals are leftists. I'd ask you to define the terms first, because I don't see anyone in there pushing fully left-wing politics. It's center, maybe center-left at most. I'd call fully left-wing positions like outright communism or socialism, which gets no real traction either there or anywhere in the U.S. And no Republican hyperbole that calls every tax communist and every government program socialist don't count, because that's delusional. So, again, what is 100% pro-left in this context? People generally know more about social issues than fiscal, economic ones. I think most Redditors are millennial, General Z. The majority of these generations, including myself, lean left on social issues like abortion, trans rights, healthcare. I think that's why our politics is the way it is. Not enough people are equipped enough to discuss fiscal, economic policy. Otherwise, I think you'd get more variety in political leanings. Reality has a liberal bias. Conservative ideas typically do not stand up to scrutiny and are frequently rooted not in facts or evidence but by religion and more abstract concepts rather than best policies for most people. This is a fact. And IDK if you've seen someone post something factually wrong on the internet but it doesn't go very well. This makes the internet a not very safe space for conservatives. They have to carve out more intentional echo chambers to reside in. And because in the US, Centrism is actually on the right, so folks like you get confused and think everything is liberal. It seems way more centrist than left-wing, to be fair. Although maybe I am reading too much into the whole Overton window thing in America. Mods straight up ban anyone with divergent views. It's tough to be right-wing here because of the rules. No hate, bigotry, hateful speech, proselytizing, and all talking points that appeal to the ideological always right. Reddit used to actually be a fair 50-50 split between Democrats and Republicans. But after the 2016 election cycle, Reddit really changed a lot. Steve Huffman did a poor job running the site and was extremely immature. Editing other users' posts because they were Trump supporters? Really? Rules got way stricter across the site as a whole. Edgy subs were banned, and political polarization boomed. Most conservatives left the website altogether after the Donald was banned. Questionable decision by the admins emo. Now as a conservative, my opinion of Trump changed since then. But at the time he was the leader of the party. This is the timeline of why Reddit leans very far left these days. Maybe it's just a more popular opinion, bro. If I ever post anything right or right-leaning, everyone downvotes it, even if it's just my opinion. On non-Tigger topics, I'm not identified as right-wing. I'd say non-political and non-partisan. I see lots of bias confirmation on Reddit. The woke mob. Reality leans left. That's why. Plus we've all been banned from conservative subs for daring to question the status quo. There are a ton of subreddits that are fully left-wing. The problem is that so many mods are. And they push out opposing ideals. White people Twitter and news are two that are embarrassingly far left for some reason as well. I say that because they will regularly post lies, photoshops, or propaganda pieces that make the right look bad, and even when one of their own calls it out for being false, they get banned. I personally was banned for pointing out lies in both, and not even in a negative way. I am fairly center, and I've noticed the left wing loves their echo chambers. If you have different politics, they will kick you out. The right has a much higher tolerance for it and love to debate you more than anything. But left-wing people stay away from them. This has led to polarized subreddits. This is of course a generalization and not representation of everyone on either side. It's also a pretty good example of why you should be getting any sort of news from multiple sources that are on both sides of the fence. It's a cascade effect. If it starts representative of the Reddit user base, it will skew somewhat left, since Reddit is left on average. So conservatives are downvoted and brigaded more than progressives are, which leads to some of them leaving the sub. As conservatives leave, the remaining ones become even more outnumbered, which causes even more of them to abandon it. Eventually the only ones left are trolls who love poking the hornet's nest.
If you enjoyed this video, please check out our playlists full of similar content. Epicaricast is like doom scrolling for your ears. Please like, share, and subscribe.